All your life you've been told that some things are impossible for you, that only a chosen few can achieve success or greatness. But what if it was all a lie? What if the only real barrier was inside your own mind? The Stoics knew that a person's greatest power doesn't lie in their circumstances, but in their ability to train their mind. Because whoever masters their thoughts, masters their destiny. But first, let me tell you a story that will help you understand that success doesn't come from luck or natural talent. It's forged in the mind. This is the story of Darius, a young architect in ancient Greece, who discovered that the greatest obstacle to achieving greatness wasn't his circumstances, but his own thoughts. Since childhood, Darius had dreamed of designing the most majestic temples in Athens. He spent hours studying marble columns, measuring perfect proportions, and imagining structures that defied the logic of his time. His hand was steady, his calculations flawless, and his creativity boundless. Every day before the sun rose, he was already in his workshop, sketching new ideas on wax tablets. He designed porticos that seemed to touch the sky, amphitheaters where sound would travel effortlessly, fountains whose cascading water followed the harmony of nature. His models were studied by other architects who admired his precision, but his ideas never bore his name. When the time came to present his designs in public, Darius hesitated. Something inside him held him back. "I'm not good enough yet," he would tell himself. So he let others, architects with less talent but more confidence, take his sketches, present them as their own, and receive all the recognition. "It doesn't matter," he told himself. "I'm not ready yet." Until one day his mentor, an old man named Eurimedes, found him staring at a parchment filled with unfinished sketches. "Darius, why don't you present your designs? They are magnificent." "Because they're not ready." The old man smiled patiently and pointed at the Parthenon, under construction in the distance. "Tell me, do you think that marvel was built in a single day, without mistakes, without misplaced stones?" Darius shook his head. "Then why do you think you must be perfect before even trying?" Darius lowered his gaze. "I don't know. Maybe I'm just not good enough yet. There's still so much to learn." Eurimedes let out a soft chuckle and placed a hand on his shoulder. "Darius, the tallest walls aren't built with stone but with thoughts. And you've built such a massive wall inside yourself that you can't even see what's on the other side. It's not the city rejecting you. It's you keeping yourself out." The young man felt those words hit harder than any criticism ever had. That night, Darius made a decision. The next morning, he would present his latest work to the Senate. He didn't sleep a single minute, but he woke up with the excitement of a child on their birthday, and the fear of someone running from a wild beast. At the start of his presentation, his voice trembled, but with each word, his fear lost strength, and his passion for his work began to shine through. Do you know what happened when he finished presenting his project? The silence was broken by applause. His designs weren't just accepted, he was given the chance to build his first great masterpiece. That day, Darius understood a lesson the Stoics had been teaching for centuries. Success isn't reserved for the most intelligent or the most talented, but for those who train their minds to overcome their own limits. Now tell me, how many times have you let your mind convince you that you can't? How many dreams have you let slip away out of fear of failure? Today you will learn how the Stoics trained their minds to break their limits and achieve success, how they reprogrammed their thoughts to turn every obstacle into a stepping stone toward greatness. Stay until the end, because this knowledge could change your life forever. Let's begin. Before we continue, if you're finding value in this content, consider subscribing and becoming an exclusive member to access unique benefits. And tell us in the comments, what limiting belief is holding you back? And what are you committing to overcome today? Or simply write, "I, Stoic, train my mind." We want to grow together with you. Lesson 1. If you don't take risks, don't expect great achievements. We all admire people who accomplish the impossible. We see them succeed and think they were destined for it, that they were lucky, that somehow it was meant to be. But there's something most people ignore. Those individuals didn't get there by playing it safe. They got there because they took risks, while everyone else was too afraid to take the leap. Do you know what people regret the most in old age? It's not the things they tried and failed at. It's the things they never had the courage to do. Studies on regret in old age have shown that what weighs heaviest are the missed opportunities, the chances never taken out of fear of failing. Do you get it? It's not your failures that will haunt you. It's the person you never asked out, the business you never started, the trip you were too scared to take. Jeff Bezos put it best when he said, "It's human nature to overestimate risk and underestimate opportunity." And Bezos knows a thing or two about taking risks. After all, he built the largest logistics empire on the planet. Look at the trees around you. Some are tall and lush, full of leaves, strong against any storm. Others are small, frail, barely holding on. Do you know the difference? The strong trees reached for more light, absorbed more water, expanded, took the risk to grow. The weak ones stayed in the shadows, without light, without space, without pushing further. That's exactly what happens to those who never take risks. It's not that they're less capable, it's that they never dare to try. Now tell me, are you the tree that expands, or the one that settles for what's within reach? Seneca made the meaning of risk-taking clear. It's not because things are difficult that we don't dare. It's because we don't dare that they are difficult. The fear of risk paralyzes us. It makes us imagine every possible way something could go wrong. But the truth is, everything worthwhile lies beyond that fear. And what about Marcus Aurelius? Do you think he was afraid of taking risks? If he had been, no one would be talking about him centuries later. As emperor, he had to make decisions that determined the fate of Rome. If he had chosen the safe path, if he had cowered in the face of risk, his empire would have crumbled. But in his personal writings, he left behind the mindset that guided him through his hardest moments. A man's life is what his thoughts make of it. If you think with fear, you will live with fear. If you think with greatness, you will live with greatness. But no, I'm not telling you to be reckless. I'm simply asking you to stop hiding behind what's comfortable, to push yourself just a little bit more every day. Here's how. Start making decisions without waiting for absolute certainty. Speak up in that meeting where you usually stay silent. Share an idea. Try something new this weekend, even if it's just changing your usual coffee shop. Small, controlled risks train you for bigger challenges. Do something uncomfortable every single day. Fear weakens when you face it. If you take one small step outside your comfort zone daily, you'll be shocked at how far you can go. So tell me, how many times have you let an opportunity slip away because it seemed too risky? How many times have you envied someone who had the courage to do what you didn't? How many times have you said someday, when deep down, you knew that day would never come unless you acted now? Success, my friend, is the enemy of fear. It doesn't belong to those who wait. It belongs to those who dare. Because if you don't take risks, you've already lost before you even begin. Lesson 2. Limits exist only in the mind. How many times have you told yourself, "I'm not good at this, I could never do that, I'm not meant for this"? Many times, right? Now tell me, have you ever truly tried? Or did you stop yourself just because you weren't good at it in the past? Or worse, because someone told you that you couldn't? Most people don't even test their own limits. They stop before they even start. But here's a fact that science has proven over and over again. Your brain is plastic. It can learn, adapt, and improve to levels you can't even imagine. The Stoics didn't have neuroscience studies, but they already knew this. They knew the mind could be trained to endure pain, overcome fear, and conquer any obstacle. Epictetus put it clearly with this quote, "If someone hands you a closed book and tells you it's useless, would you believe it without opening it? Then why do you do the same with yourself?" Have you seen the movie Limitless? If you have, you already know what I'm talking about. If not, let me summarize it quickly. The protagonist is a failed writer who one day discovers a miracle pill. When he takes it, his brain activates at 100% capacity. He remembers everything he has ever read, processes information at a superhuman speed, and his intelligence skyrockets. Overnight, he becomes unstoppable, smarter than anyone else. And what if I told you that you don't need a pill to unlock your potential? Because even though the movie is fiction, its message is real. Most people go through life using only a fraction of their true mental power. Not because they lack capacity, but because they've accepted limits that aren't real. They've imposed them on themselves, or their family did, or their environment, or the media. And this is where the Stoics come in. They didn't believe in magic or shortcuts, but they knew that the power of the mind is what defines our destiny. Marcus Aurelius put it bluntly, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your mind can be your greatest tool or your worst enemy. If you believe you can't do something, you're right, because you won't even try. But if you believe something is possible, you're also right. How is that possible? Because your mind will focus on making happen whatever you tell it to. That's why when you remove mental barriers, everything changes. And no, I'm not talking about daydreaming. I'm talking about working, practicing, and convincing yourself that you are capable through action. Challenge your limiting beliefs. Every time you think, "I can't do this," question it. Can't you? Or have you simply never seriously tried? Are you bad at it? Or have you just not practiced enough? Do something difficult every day. Step out of your routine. Surprise yourself by doing things you once thought you couldn't. If your mind gets used to discomfort, it becomes stronger. Surround yourself with things that elevate you. If you only listen to people who complain and give up, your mind will absorb that mentality. Change your environment, and you'll change the way you think. In real life, there's no magic pill that multiplies your brain's power. But there is something better, the certainty that you can train your mind to break any limit. So tell me, are you going to keep living with imaginary barriers, or are you going to start discovering what you're truly capable of? The choice is yours. Be the protagonist of your own success story. Lesson 3. You don't need motivation, you need a system. I'm sure you felt that surge of motivation after watching an inspiring video, reading a powerful quote, or imagining the life you want. In that moment, you feel unstoppable. You say, "Starting tomorrow, I'll wake up early, start training, stop wasting time, and give it my all." But then the next day comes and nothing happens. Or worse, you start strong, but a week later, everything falls apart. Why? Because relying on motivation is like trying to start a fire with paper. It burns fast but dies out in seconds. Motivation is just a spark, and like any spark, it's fleeting. One bad day, one night of poor sleep, one minor distraction, and it's gone. Now tell me, what's your daily routine? Let me guess. You wake up, check your phone, compare your life to some influencer who just posted their new luxury car, sigh, eat a processed breakfast, and leave the house feeling like something is missing, like something isn't right. If this is the script you follow every day, do you think you'll be able to get the most out of your mind? Out of your life? I don't think so. The Stoics knew they couldn't depend on their emotions to achieve excellence. Marcus Aurelius didn't rule an empire by waiting to feel motivated to do the right thing. He had a system. He woke up early, reflected on his purpose, wrote in his journal to train his mind, and faced the day with discipline. And Epictetus said, "The harder the task, the greater the glory in overcoming it." The most skilled sailors are not made in calm waters. The Stoics didn't wait to feel like doing what they needed to do. They just did it. They didn't let emotions dictate their destiny. They lived by principles, not by moods. A Roman soldier didn't train because he felt like it. He trained because his life depended on it. If you treat your goals as optional, you'll always find an excuse. But if you treat them as a personal duty, as a commitment to yourself, you'll achieve them no matter what. And this isn't just a Stoic idea. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, explains that success isn't about having goals. It's about building systems that make progress inevitable. But how do you build a system that leads you to everything you want to achieve? You may be wondering, let's break it down. First, design your routine so that it runs like clockwork even when you don't feel like it. Don't rely on willpower. Create habits that don't require decision-making. If you want to work out, set out your clothes the night before. If you want to read more, leave your book on the table. Make it harder to fail than to succeed. Next, set rules, not intentions. Don't say, I'll try to wake up early. Say, I wake up at 6 a.m., no excuses. When you turn your desires into personal rules, everything changes. And finally, forget the lie called perfection. Aim for consistency, not perfection. One bad day doesn't ruin your progress, but quitting does. If you slip up one day, get back on track the next. The key to success isn't never failing, it's never giving up. Remember, you are not your emotions. You are not the motivation you feel one day and lose the next. You are what you repeatedly do. So stop waiting to feel like it. Build a system that drives you to success even when you're not motivated, because results don't come to those who wait for the perfect moment. They come to those who act even when they don't feel like it. Lesson 4. Limits only exist in your mind. What if I told you that everything you believe to be impossible is just an imaginary wall you've built yourself? That the reason you haven't achieved what you want isn't a lack of talent, money, or luck, but a lie you've been telling yourself for years? I know it sounds harsh, but the sooner you accept it, the better. From a young age, we're taught to think small, to believe that certain things are only for the lucky ones, for the chosen few, for geniuses. We're programmed to see barriers where none exist, and we convince ourselves that some dreams are simply not meant for us. But let me tell you something, that's a lie. The Stoics knew this well. To them, external limits didn't exist, only internal ones did. Epictetus, born a slave, became one of the most influential philosophers in history. Marcus Aurelius, in the midst of the chaos of his empire, understood that his greatest power didn't lie in his army, but in his mind. They both grasped something that most people never see. It's not the world that holds you back, it's you. A group of scientists conducted an experiment that perfectly illustrates this concept. The flea experiment. Yes, you heard that right, fleas. They placed several fleas inside a glass jar and sealed it with a lid. For days, the fleas tried to jump out, only to hit the lid again and again. After some time, the scientists removed the lid. And here's where it gets interesting. Do you know what the fleas did then? Nothing. That's right, nothing. The fleas had stopped trying to jump higher. They had learned there was a limit, even though that limit no longer existed. My friend, humans aren't fleas, but we act exactly the same way. From childhood, we learn that we can't do certain things, that there are limits we shouldn't cross. And even when reality changes, we continue acting as if those barriers are real. How many dreams have you abandoned just because someone told you that you weren't capable? How many times have you held yourself back without even giving it a real shot? Think about something you once believed was impossible but now do naturally. Maybe you thought you'd never learn to drive, that speaking in public was terrifying, or that you'd never be able to change jobs. But one day you did it, and the barrier disappeared. It's that simple and that difficult at the same time. Tell me, if you've already overcome those things, what makes you think you can't overcome what you're facing today? The process is the same. The only difference is that you haven't allowed yourself to try enough times. The problem is that you keep repeating the stories that trap you. Phrases like, I wasn't born for this. I don't have what it takes. I'll never make it. But those aren't truths. They're excuses disguised as reality. What would happen if you dared to act without believing in those self-imposed limits? If you realized that failure is just another step on the journey, and that the only thing separating those who achieve the impossible from those who give up is that the former keep going despite the fear. Think of anyone you admire. They weren't necessarily born with more opportunities or more luck. They simply refused to accept the limits imposed by others. So now tell me, are you going to keep living inside an invisible cage, or are you going to dare to jump higher? Because my friend, all you have to do is believe in yourself, and the impossible disappears. Lesson 5. If you keep doing the same thing, you'll keep being the same. Have you ever heard the saying, if you want different results, you have to do things differently? Of course you have. It sounds simple, almost obvious. But it's the truth. And yet most people ignore this principle every single day. It's like complaining that you hate your job, but every day you do the exact same thing. Wake up, check your phone, go to the office with a look of resignation, do the bare minimum, come home exhausted, and repeat the cycle. And somehow still expect things to change. Or saying you want to get in shape, but you keep eating the same way, you keep avoiding exercise, and then wonder why you don't see results. Does that make sense? Albert Einstein defined insanity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And yet, most people live in that constant state of insanity. They remain stuck in the same habits, the same circles, the same thoughts, and then wonder why their life isn't changing. The Stoics knew that the only way to evolve was to question what they did and how they did it. Epictetus put it bluntly, if you wish to improve, be prepared to look like a fool and an ignorant person. That is the choice. You can stay exactly where you are to fit in, or you can dare to do what's necessary, even if people judge you, even if you stumble. The Stoics knew the answer. They weren't here to be accepted by the world. They were here to become better every day. Imagine yourself in a maze. You keep walking down the same hallway over and over, expecting to find the exit, but you always end up at the same dead end. Does it make sense to keep following the same path? Of course not. The only way out is to change direction, take a different turn, explore an unknown path, to put your mind to work, to reach success. The same applies to everything in life. If you don't know how to escape that repetitive maze that's keeping you stuck, here are some clues. A good start is changing your environment. If you keep surrounding yourself with the same things, you'll keep acting the same way. Put yourself in situations that push you to be better. Then do something uncomfortable. You won't evolve inside your comfort zone. If something scares or unsettles you, it's probably exactly what you need to do. And once again, the ultimate trick is to take action. Not tomorrow, not next week. Start with a small change today. What you do differently today will be the first step toward a different future. Let me tell you from experience, few things in life feel as rewarding as daring to try, testing yourself, and challenging what you once thought was your limit. Just trying is already a guaranteed victory. If you succeed, you'll have grown. If you don't, you still won't have failed. You'll have gained a lesson that brings you closer to your goal. So tell me, are you going to keep walking in circles in that maze of frustration? Or are you going to dare to take a different path? Sixth lesson. It's not luck, it's preparation. Many people look at someone else's success and think, they got lucky. As if everything was just a stroke of fortune. As if success simply fell from the sky. But tell me, do you really believe that those who have achieved something great were just in the right place at the right time, waiting for life to smile upon them? No, success isn't magic. It's not a lottery. It's the result of constant preparation, most of the time invisible to others. The Stoics had a clear vision of life. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how prepared you are to face it. Marcus Aurelius wrote every morning about the obstacles he might encounter during the day. He visualized them. He anticipated failure, criticism, and difficulty. That way, when adversity came, it didn't catch him off guard. He was prepared for everything. That's what led him to success. Not luck, not fortune. Seneca put it simply, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. To the Stoics, luck was nothing more than an excuse for those who didn't prepare. The one who trains, who repeats, who disciplines himself, doesn't need luck. He is destined for success. There was once a young man with an impossible dream. He wanted to be the best in his field, even though everyone told him he had no talent. He wasn't particularly gifted, he didn't come from a wealthy family, and he had no connections to make his journey easier. He had only one thing, an obsession with getting better. While others slept, he studied. While others rested, he practiced. He lost competitions, failed auditions, faced rejection, and kept going. Years later, when his opportunity finally came, there was no magic or luck. There was only a man who had worked every day for that moment, regardless of external conditions, regardless of what others said, regardless of anything. That young man was Kobe Bryant. Sound familiar? He woke up at 4 in the morning to train before his teammates even got out of bed. He didn't become a legend because of talent. He became one because he was willing to do what others weren't. When someone asked him what his secret was, he answered, "Secret? There is no secret. I just prepare more than anyone else." Now, think about yourself. If the opportunity you've been waiting for appeared today, that job, that project, that chance to change your life, would you truly be ready to seize it? Or would you hide behind excuses like, "I'm not ready," "It's not the right time," or "Others are just luckier than me"? The truth is this: what we call luck is nothing more than accumulated preparation. If you want to prepare like a Stoic, here are the 3 most important pillars to break all your limits. Train your mind before life tests you, not after. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait for adversity to arrive before wondering how to react. Every morning he reflected on the challenges he might face that day. He visualized them. He prepared. And when difficulty came, he was already ready. Improve every day, even when no one is watching. No one saw Kobe Bryant taking thousands of shots alone at 5 in the morning. No one saw the great Stoics writing in their journals in the solitude of the night. The real work is done in the shadows. And finally, accept the control you have over your destiny. You can't choose when or how an opportunity will come, but you can make sure you're ready when it does. And when that moment arrives, there won't be luck, only the result of what you did when no one was watching. The truth is this: luck doesn't exist for those who have prepared because they don't need it. Success isn't a mystery. It's the consequence of repetition, of the system you create for yourself, of the constant work you do without needing anyone to congratulate you for it. So stop asking yourself when your opportunity will come. Start preparing so that when it does, it finds you ready. And then others will say they got lucky. But you'll know the truth. And that will be enough. Lesson 7. No one has gone far without failing 1,000 times. Tell me, how many times have you given up because you thought you had already failed too much? Maybe you hate your job but stay there because the fear of the unknown paralyzes you. You tell yourself, "What if I quit and can't find something better?" Or maybe you have a dream, a project, something you really want to do, but you don't even try because you think, "What if it doesn't work? What if I make a mistake? What if I embarrass myself?" Ah, the trap of fearing failure. What a common headache. But here's the truth no one tells you: failure is not the end. It's the price you pay to go far. The Stoics knew this better than anyone. To them, failure wasn't a tragedy. It was a test. They didn't define themselves by what happened to them, but by how they responded to it. Look at the story of Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism. He lost everything in a shipwreck. His entire wealth, his stability, gone, swallowed by the sea. Think about it. If that happened to you today, how would you take it? You'd probably say it was the worst day of your life, that it was unfair, that luck had turned its back on you. But Zeno saw it differently. Instead of complaining, he looked for a new path. He ended up in Athens, discovered philosophy, and created one of the most influential schools of thought in history. Years later, when he looked back, he said these words, "By suffering shipwreck, I had a good journey." Wow. Do you see how powerful that is? What would have been the end for most people was just the beginning for him. The problem is that we've been taught to see failure as an insurmountable wall when in reality, it's a staircase. Think about how you learned to walk. You fell hundreds of times before taking your first steady step, but you didn't stop because you didn't even know what failure was. You only knew you had to try again. The human brain is designed to adapt. Neuroscience has shown that when we fail, our neural connections strengthen. It's as if every mistake teaches us the right way to do something. Failure literally makes you smarter, more capable of reaching success. So if your brain understands this, why don't you? The only way to get good at something is to fail enough times until you find the right path. So stop avoiding failure and start seeing it as your greatest teacher. If something didn't go well, try again with a new approach. Learn to see failure as a sign of progress, not as a punishment. And most importantly, don't take failure personally. It doesn't mean you're not capable. It only means you're still in the process of becoming so. Dare to try. Instead of fearing the fall, start strengthening yourself so you can withstand it. Now, I want you to commit. Are you going to keep seeing failure as a curse, or are you going to start using it to your advantage? Tell us in the comments, what failure are you afraid of that is stopping you from taking action? And what step are you going to take today to face it? Right. Failure is my teacher, and make this your commitment. We'll read your comments and be with you on this journey. Lesson 8. The perfect moment doesn't exist. How many more dreams are you going to keep putting on hold while you wait to feel ready? We fool ourselves by saying, there will be a better time, when I have more time, when I feel prepared. And so, we keep postponing life, believing that one day a magical sign will appear and tell us, now is the perfect moment. But spoiler alert, that day never comes. My friend, psychology has a name for this habit of overthinking instead of acting. It's called analysis paralysis, a phenomenon that traps us when we try to plan every detail before taking action. We want to foresee everything, make sure nothing goes wrong. But the irony is that the more we think, the more doubts arise, the more excuses we invent, and the more time we waste. Psychologist and Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman put it in a brutal truth. A person who waits until they are sure never does anything. And the Stoics knew this long before psychology existed. They didn't need scientific studies, their wisdom was enough. To them, waiting was a trick of the mind. The only thing that is real, the only thing we have power over, is the present. Think of Marcus Aurelius. Imagine if, in the middle of the Roman Empire's crisis, with wars, betrayals, and chaos everywhere, he had said, I'll wait until things calm down before I take action. Rome would have collapsed before that day ever came. But he understood that the perfect moment doesn't exist. A leader acts in the middle of chaos, not when they feel ready, not when everything is in order. Modern life traps us in the same illusion. Think of someone who wants to start reading more. They convince themselves they need the perfect book, the ideal time, the right environment. They spend months searching for recommendations, watching reviews, buying books they never open. But the habit never starts because they're still waiting for the perfect conditions. What should they do instead? Open any book and read 2 pages, right now. It doesn't matter if it's the right book or if they only have 5 free minutes, because action creates habits, not intention. Imagine your life as a ship in the middle of the ocean. No matter how much you plan the journey, if you never lift the anchor, you'll never move. And while you wait for the perfect conditions to set sail, other ships with far less preparation than yours have already left the harbor. And of course, you'll blame the weather, you'll blame the tide, or the scorching sun that won't give you a break. My friend, that ends today. The key to achieving what seems impossible is to stop waiting for the perfect moment. It's to start now, because here's the trick. Step by step, the impossible becomes possible. Brick by brick, the castle is built. So next time you think about waiting until you're ready, remember this. You don't need to be ready. You just need to start. 9th lesson. It doesn't matter how you start, only how you persist. We all want to start with an advantage. We want natural talent, unlimited resources, the perfect conditions for success. But the truth is, the people who go far aren't the ones who had the best start. They're the ones who refuse to give up. The world is full of success stories that began with failure, of geniuses who were once considered mediocre, of athletes who were written off at the beginning. The winner isn't the one who starts best. The winner is the one still standing when everyone else has fallen. Think about Thomas Edison. He failed more than 10,000 times before he revolutionized the light bulb. When asked how he felt after so many failures, he responded, "Failure? I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that don't work." Ah, what an incredible lesson, my friend. Such confidence, such resilience. That is what led him to success. He never saw his failures as failures. To him, they were just steps leading him to the right path. If he had quit on attempt number 9,900, the world would be different today. But he didn't quit. That's why we know his name, because he achieved the impossible. But now I want to share something more personal. When I started my first big project, I was convinced it would work quickly. I had a plan, I had energy. My motivation was at its peak. But what I didn't have were results. Weeks passed, then months, nothing. One day, a good friend, someone who had been in the same position before, looked at me and said, "The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that the successful ones keep going when everyone else gives up." Those words hit me hard. That's when I realized something. The only way to fail was to stop trying. So I kept going. When no one else saw progress, when nothing seemed to be working, when doubts started creeping into my mind, I stopped wondering if I would succeed. That was already a fact. The only question was when. And then, one day, everything started to change. What once seemed impossible slowly became reality. It didn't matter how I started. The only thing that mattered was that I didn't stop. I had a clear goal, and I wasn't in a rush. That is the magic formula. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They didn't focus on immediate results. They focused on constant effort. It didn't matter if circumstances were unfair, if things didn't go as planned, or if they faced setbacks. Imagine Marcus Aurelius on the battlefield. His army weakened. Winter crushing his soldiers, enemies closing in. It would have been easy to say, "I can't win, everything is against me." But he didn't think about losing. He thought about how to move forward, a little more. One more day, one more step. In his personal writings he wrote, "Do what you must do. Even if you tremble, even if you doubt. Do it." Wow, that gives me chills. Our friend Seneca had the same wisdom when he said, "The greatest misfortune is not to fall, but not to rise again." It doesn't matter if today things feel stuck. It doesn't matter if progress is slower than you expected. The only thing that matters is whether you keep going or decide to quit. If you're in a moment where you feel like nothing is working, do this. Separate emotions from action. Don't make decisions based on how you feel today. A bad day doesn't mean you should give up. Remember why you started. When you feel like quitting, go back to your reason. Why did I begin this? Reconnect with that purpose and keep moving forward. Do it for one more day. When you feel like you can't continue, just push for one more day, then another, and another. Resilience is built one step at a time. Everyone stumbles, everyone doubts, everyone has moments of despair. But the difference between those who make it and those who don't? The ones who succeed stand up one more time than they fall. The question isn't if you'll face challenges. The question is, will you keep going when they come? I believe in you, my friend. I know you can. Lesson 10. Consistency is the ultimate weapon. You've probably seen someone with talent, intelligence, or great ideas, but who never accomplished anything. People who started strong, full of energy, with a clear vision, but stopped halfway. Because in the end, it's not the most talented or the most intelligent who win. It's the ones who keep going when everyone else has given up. Consistency is what separates those who dream from those who make their dreams a reality. It's what allows you to break your limits over and over again. Many people think failure happens when things don't go well, but that's not failure. Failing isn't stumbling, falling, or making mistakes. Failing is stopping. Think about this. If you start working out today, you won't see results in a week. If you start learning a new language, you won't be fluent in a month. But if you keep at it for a year, 2 years, 5 years, where will you be? And what if you had started 5 years ago and stayed consistent? You'd probably already be bilingual. Darren Hardy, author of The Compound Effect, reinforces this idea with one of his most powerful quotes. "It's not what you do once in a while that changes your life. It's what you do consistently." His point is clear. Small daily actions repeated over time create exponential results. It's not about doing something spectacular once, but about doing it well, consistently. Another expert, Cal Newport, author of Deep Work, explains it in a different way. The key to success is not inspiration, but the discipline of doing deep work day after day. His philosophy is simple. Success doesn't come from flashes of genius, but from sustained effort over time. And who were masters of consistency centuries ago? That's right, the Stoics. They didn't need modern productivity hacks or YouTube tutorials. They already knew that true success is hidden in repetition, in daily discipline. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, didn't become a strong leader by chance. He wasn't born with an unbreakable mindset. He trained it. Every morning, he wrote in his journal, reflected on his thoughts, and corrected his mistakes. Not for a single day, but for decades. And he made his belief clear with these words: "Your repeated actions determine your character." So, my friend, if you want to change your life, you first have to change what you do every day. Imagine planting a seed each day. At first, it seems like nothing is happening. But if you keep watering it, giving it light, and caring for it, one day, without even realizing it, you have a tree. But if you stop too soon, if you stop watering the seed, you'll never know how big it could have been. So stop expecting instant results. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's something you build with every small action. And while you don't need to read thousands of productivity books or memorize every tutorial online, these tricks will help. First, commit to improving just 1% each day. You don't need huge changes. Small efforts, repeated over time, become unstoppable. Second, eliminate the all-or-nothing mindset. It doesn't matter if you miss a day or don't progress as much as you wanted. What matters is that you don't stop. And third, as I've already told you, build systems, not just goals. Don't just think, "I want to be successful." Think about what actions you need to repeat every day to get there. Everything you want is on the other side of consistent effort, not on the other side of a lucky break. Burn that into your mind, and there will be no goal beyond your reach. Lesson 11. Start before you're ready. Do you remember the first time you rode a bike? You didn't wait until you had perfect balance, memorized the theory of pedaling, or studied a cycling manual. You just got on. You wobbled, took a few clumsy pedals, fell a couple of times, and kept going until one day, without even realizing it, you were riding without fear. So why, when it comes to big dreams, do we convince ourselves that we need to be fully prepared before we begin? If we already understood this as children, why did we forget? Look around. The people who achieve the impossible don't do it because they were 100% ready. They do it because they started before they were ready. They jumped in with what they had and learned along the way. Seneca put it plainly: while a man hesitates, considers, and prepares, life passes him by. The problem is that most people think they need absolute certainty before taking action. It's like someone who wants to learn how to swim, but insists on reading about swimming techniques for years without ever setting foot in the water. What sense does that make? Or like someone who wants to start a business but spends months designing the perfect logo without having sold a single product. Perfection is the favorite excuse of those who never dare to begin. As the saying goes, "Walker, there is no path. The path is made by walking." What a powerful truth. Let me share an old fable with you. A farmer would check his field every morning, waiting for the perfect moment to plant his seeds. One day, it was too hot. The next, the clouds threatened rain. Then, the soil seemed too dry. There was always an excuse not to start. Weeks passed, then months, and when he finally decided to plant, winter had arrived. His opportunity was gone. That's the trap we all fall into. We wait for the perfect moment, not realizing that the only real opportunity is now. How many times have you done the same? How many times have you said you'd start on Monday, next month, next year? How many opportunities have passed you by because you were too busy preparing for them? Marcus Aurelius said it best. Stop wasting time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. The Stoics understood that the future does not belong to us. The only thing we can control is what we do in this moment. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the first step. And do you know why? Because if you wait until you feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. Start writing before you've taken the best writing course. Start training without the most expensive gear. Start that project without knowing every single detail. Because success doesn't belong to those who plan everything. It belongs to those who start before they're ready. The perfect moment doesn't exist, but this one does. Don't wait for the path to reveal itself to you. Take the first step and let the path form beneath your feet. Lesson 12. Are you willing to pay the price? Once upon a time, there was a young blacksmith's apprentice who dreamed of forging the strongest sword ever created. One day, his master handed him a bar of metal and said, "If you want it to be strong, you must strike it 1,000 times, then plunge it into ice-cold water. Then another 1,000 strikes, and only then will you be close to achieving what you desire." The young apprentice, impatient, struck the metal a few times and, convinced it was enough, plunged it into the water. But when he tried to sharpen it, the sword snapped in two. The master simply looked at him and said, "Strength is not achieved with a few strikes. Greatness is forged through fire, pressure, and time." Do you understand the lesson? Everyone wants success, to break their limits, to become their best version. But are they truly willing to pay the price? The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They knew that nothing great is achieved without effort and sacrifice. Seneca put it clearly with these words: "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Success doesn't come to those who wait or those who try to rush the process. It comes to those who work when no one is watching, to those who wake up early to improve, who study while others complain, who train even when they don't feel like it. And here's the big question: how much time are you truly willing to dedicate to becoming excellent at what you do? Psychologist Malcolm Gladwell popularized the idea that mastering a skill requires 10,000 hours of practice. Yes, you heard that right. 10,000 hours. Are you willing to invest them, or do you expect to get good by practicing only when you feel like it? Because tell me, do you think Kobe Bryant trained only on weekends, or only when the weather was nice? Do you think Mozart composed only when he was in the mood, when the acoustics were perfect? Of course not. They built their greatness through consistency, not occasional effort. Let's be honest. Are you truly working on your best self, or are you just wishing for it? Do you wake up each day with a clear purpose, with a plan to reach your goal? Or is the first thing you do check your phone, get distracted, and postpone what really matters? The problem isn't that you can't. The problem is that maybe you haven't yet decided to pay the price for what you desire. If you want to break your limits, you must accept that. You won't always see immediate results. There will be days when you'll want to quit. No one will applaud you at first, but I promise you this: if you keep going when others stop, you will go further than you ever imagined. But you have to fight, my friend. That's how life works. Commit to the process, not the outcome. Success isn't a destination. It's the accumulation of small actions repeated over time. Don't wait to feel motivated every day. Do it because it's part of who you are. Work in silence. Don't seek external validation. If success came with applause, everyone would have it. Build in the shadows and let your results speak for themselves. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It won't come. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for the ideal conditions. Start now. Everyone wants success, but few are willing to do what it takes to achieve it. But I believe in you. Do you know why? Because you're here, listening to me. And that's proof that you're not just someone who dreams of breaking their limits. You're someone who wakes up every day and gives it their all. Go for it. The future is yours. Lesson 13. Stop putting stones in your own path. Once upon a time, a donkey fell into a well. Scared, he tried to climb out, but the walls were too high. He brayed, kicked, but no one came to help. His owner, seeing the situation, thought there was no solution. "He's old anyway, not worth the effort," he told himself. So he grabbed a shovel and started throwing dirt on top of him to bury him right there. Sad, right? With every shovelful of dirt, the donkey, very wisely, didn't let himself be buried. Instead, he shook off the dust and stepped on it again and again, shake it off, step up higher and higher, until finally he used all that dirt to climb out of the well with his own strength. How incredible! Do you know what the donkey's greatest advantage was? He had no limits because he didn't even know what limits were. Now tell me, how many times have you been the one burying yourself? How many times have you turned a problem into an absolute roadblock when, in reality, it was an opportunity to grow? How many times have you been that poor donkey, seeing nothing but giant walls around you and dirt falling on top, without realizing you could use it as a stepping stone to climb out? Listen, the Stoics didn't see problems as a curse, they saw them as training, life's way of making us stronger. They didn't believe in complaining, they believed in action. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled through wars and plagues, could have given in to despair. But instead, he chose to use every obstacle as a precious gem of wisdom and learning, every setback as a step toward success. He wrote that obstacles aren't the end of the road. They are the very tools that will make you stronger if you choose to face them. Let's be honest. How many times have you held yourself back before even trying? You've let fear paralyze you, made excuses, procrastinated, and watched from afar as your dreams remained out of reach, all just to avoid failure. But here's the irony. You're not protecting yourself from failure. You're depriving yourself of the success that comes from learning through failure. Be real with yourself. How many times have you told yourself things like, "I don't have time to improve"? Are you sure? But somehow you have time for Netflix and scrolling through social media. "I'm just not talented." Listen to me. No one is born knowing. Talent isn't a gift, it's the result of work. And my personal favorite, it's not the right time. Enough. There is no such thing as the perfect time. The only time that exists is now. If you keep waiting for the perfect moment, you'll die waiting. My friend, it's time to ask yourself questions, but the right ones. Instead of thinking, "What if I fail?" ask yourself, "What if it works?" Your mind will take you in whatever direction you point it. Turn problems into stepping stones. Every obstacle is just an opportunity in disguise. If the road is blocked, find another way forward, and do it now. Stop overanalyzing. Stop planning forever. Take one step today, just one, and tomorrow another. Tell me, are you going to keep burying yourself, or are you going to shake off the dirt and climb out of the well? Because the biggest obstacle in your path isn't what happens to you. It's the dramatic story you tell yourself about it. Now I ask for a small commitment. Write in the comments, "Today I stop putting stones in my own path." That way I'll know you're ready to fight. Lesson 14. Dreams stop being dreams when you dare to act. Every great achievement starts the same way, as a simple thought in the mind of someone who decided not to leave it there. Look around you. Every building, every invention, every masterpiece was once just an idea. But what made the difference between a simple wish and something real was that someone dared to take the first step. And here comes the most important question. How many times have you let a dream stay in your head out of fear of trying? Because here's the key to all of this. Training your mind to break your limits means learning to act despite fear. If you only think about what you want, if you only visualize it without moving, you'll stay exactly where you are. Imagine standing on the edge of a river. On the other side lies the life you've always wanted, your success, your best version. In front of you there are stepping stones in the water, made of doubts and fears. You don't need to swim, you don't need a boat. You just have to take the first step and start crossing. But instead of moving, you stand there waiting to feel ready, waiting for someone to carry you across, waiting for your dream life to magically come to you. Because of course, crossing that path of doubt and fear is just too much for you. It's only a metaphor, I know, but how sad. A tiny temporary obstacle is keeping you from what you've always wanted. And no, the stones aren't the real obstacle. The real obstacle is the importance you give them. No one who has achieved something great started with everything perfectly clear, without doubts or fear, but they dared to walk the path while others only dreamed about it. That friend who always says they'll start going to the gym, who wants to get in shape, but every week finds a new excuse not to start. Or that coworker who says they're going to learn a new language because it would open so many doors, but always puts it off until next year. And what happens? Months go by, years go by, and they're still in the same place. Life keeps passing them by. Now imagine that, instead of waiting for the perfect moment, they had taken one small step every day. Where would they be today? The Stoics never sat around waiting for things to happen on their own. To them, action was what defined a person. Do you think Marcus Aurelius dreamed of being a great leader, but let fear paralyze him? Do you think he waited for the perfect moment to act? Or do you think his greatness came because he made decisions, faced challenges, and turned every obstacle into an opportunity? He put it clearly: stop debating what it means to be a good person and just be one. Translation: stop thinking about what would happen if you tried something and start trying, without fear. Imagine a bridge. You're on one side and on the other is the success you want so badly. But that bridge won't build itself with thoughts alone. Every step you take, every action, every small advance is another brick in that construction. And here's something you need to know. Dreams don't die because they're impossible. They die because people don't dare to build the bridge. Want the secret to making it happen? Simple. Start now, even if you don't know how. No one starts ready. No one starts perfect. But those who start eventually learn. Stop thinking about step 100 and focus on step 1. Many never begin because they overthink everything. Just do something, no matter how small. And most importantly, do it before you feel ready. Waiting for the perfect moment is the best way to make sure it never happens. Your dreams can stay in your mind forever, or they can become part of your story. The only difference between the two is your decision to start. Lesson 15. Reprogram your mind. I'll confess something to you. Years ago, I fell into the trap of my own mind. There was something I had always wanted to do, but it terrified me. Public speaking. Every time I imagined stepping onto a stage, I felt a knot in my stomach. I told myself, "You're not good at this, you're going to embarrass yourself, everyone will judge you." So every opportunity I had, I turned it down. But fear doesn't disappear when you avoid it, it only gets stronger. I remember 2 moments that proved this perfectly. The first was in class when a teacher asked me a simple question. I knew the answer, but I completely froze. My mind kept repeating, "Don't say something stupid." And the silence became so unbearable that someone else answered for me. The second was even worse. I was asked to present a project in front of a small group of co-workers. It was an important project. My dream promotion depended on it. I started off well, but suddenly my voice shook, my words tangled, and I ended up stuttering, unable to finish a sentence. I felt everyone's eyes on me, and my only instinct was to disappear. At the time, I didn't understand what was happening. I thought my problem was a lack of skill, but the truth was something else. My mind was sabotaging me. Later, I came across a quote from Marcus Aurelius that changed everything. Our life is what our thoughts make of it. I realized that every time I anticipated failure, my body reacted as if it were already happening. It wasn't fear that was paralyzing me. It was my inner dialogue. So I made a decision. If my mind could be trained to limit me, it could also be trained to empower me. During that time, I started reading more about the Stoics. I discovered that, to them, the mind was the only thing we truly have control over. Everything else, our environment, our circumstances, other people's opinions, was irrelevant. A clear example is Epictetus, who was born a slave. Imagine how easy it would have been for him to believe he would never achieve anything. But instead, he changed his perception of himself. He couldn't control his external conditions, but he could control his thoughts. He educated himself, strengthened his mind, and became one of the most influential philosophers of his time. If he could do that in an era where his fate seemed predetermined, what excuse do we have? I understood that my fear of public speaking was simply a result of how I had programmed my mind to fail. What a shame, and yet what a relief. Do you know why? Because if I could bring myself down, I could also lift myself up. So here's what worked for me to reprogram my mind. Catch the thought before it catches you. Every time you catch yourself saying, "I can't," stop. Ask yourself, is this a fact or just a perception? Most of the time, it's just a mental habit. When fear grips you, do the opposite of what your mind tells you to do. If it tells you to avoid something, do it anyway. Fear doesn't fade over time. It disappears with action. And finally, remember what Epictetus taught us. Perception is everything. It's not events that affect us, but how we interpret them. If you fail at something, it doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you're learning. If you train your mind to support you instead of sabotage you, everything will change. Because it's not reality that limits you. It's the story you tell yourself about it. The Stoics knew this. We are not slaves to our thoughts. We are their masters. Now, the question is, are you going to let your mind decide for you? Or are you going to program it to lead you to success in everything you set out to do? Lesson 16. If no one believes in you, believe in yourself. I know how painful it is not to be taken seriously. We all want approval, recognition, and support. But let me tell you a truth no one else will. You don't need anyone to believe in you, except yourself. How many ideas have you abandoned because someone told you they were impossible? How many dreams have you put on hold because others didn't have faith in you? Let me tell you my story. A few years ago, I had an idea. I wanted to create content that would inspire people, help them change their mindset and push past their limits. I saw it so clearly in my head, messages that would shake people up, drive them to take action, and show them that their mind was their most powerful tool. But the moment I started sharing my idea, the criticism began. That kind of content won't catch on. People don't want to reflect, they want easy entertainment. It's impossible for this to work. Who's going to listen to you? And of course, those words made me doubt myself. Because when so many voices tell you something won't work, it's easy to believe them. Until I remembered something Epictetus once said. First, decide who you will be. Then, do what you must do. That's when it clicked. I didn't need anyone else to see what I saw. The only thing that mattered was that I believed in it. So I decided to go for it anyway. No validation, no guarantees, no waiting for approval. I just got to work. Every day I created, every day I learned, every day I improved. At first it felt like shouting into the void. No one seemed to notice. No one shared my content. And the same people who doubted me before were now saying, "Told you so." I won't lie. There were moments when I thought about quitting, disappearing, giving up. But I didn't. I remember one conversation in particular. A good friend looked me in the eye and said, "If you don't see results in a few months, you should just quit. It's a waste of time." That day, I went home, and for a moment, I almost believed him. But then I did something that I highly recommend. I had a conversation with myself. If I quit now, I'll be giving up just because I listened to someone who never even tried. Is that what I want? If you're here, listening to me, you already know my answer. I kept going. And one day, out of nowhere, one of my messages started resonating with people. Then another, then another. And suddenly, what everyone once called impossible became real. What I learned from that experience is this. No one else can see what you see in your mind. They can't feel the vision you feel because they're not inside of you. So yes, it's okay to seek support, but waiting for others to believe in you before you act is a trap. The Stoics taught us that external validation is an illusion. Marcus Aurelius put it plainly, "Don't waste time arguing about what a good man should be one." You don't need to convince anyone. You just need to act. If you feel like no one believes in you, do this. Be your own reference point. Stop looking for others to validate your ideas. If you believe in it, do it. Period. And another piece of advice that helped me: only listen to people who have achieved what you want. Most of the people who criticize you have never even attempted what you're trying to do. The ones who say it's impossible, they've never even tried. Look around you. The world is full of people who doubt everything until they see someone do it. Do you think 100 years ago people believed going to the moon was possible? Do you think 50 years ago anyone imagined the internet? And yet, here we are, my friend. Don't wait for others to believe in you. Believe in yourself first. Lesson 16. Success is about holding on longer than the rest. Everyone wants results, but few are willing to pay the price that greatness demands. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's resilience. Holding on when others give up, pushing forward when nothing seems to be working, trusting the process even when you see no progress. Think of a marble sculpture. The sculptor doesn't create it with a single strike, but with thousands of small chisel impacts. Day after day, they remove what's unnecessary, shape the details, and carve meaning out of what was once just a purposeless stone. And if they stop too soon, they'll never see the masterpiece completed. Psychology confirms this. Carol Dweck, a Stanford psychologist, proved that success doesn't depend on intelligence or natural ability, but on a growth mindset. The ability to persist, learn from mistakes, and improve over time. The people who achieve great things aren't the ones who never fail, but the ones who keep going despite their failures. The Stoics understood this centuries earlier. Seneca put it best: a diamond cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without difficulties. Do you think those who have achieved the most in life had everything working in their favor from the start? Or were they simply the ones who held on the longest when everyone else quit? Think about Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player in history. Do you think he was always the leader, the athlete, the prodigy we know today? Of course not. He was actually cut from his high school basketball team because he didn't have enough talent. Yes, you heard that right. They told him he wasn't good enough. He could have accepted that as his fate, but instead, he used every rejection as fuel. He trained harder than anyone and turned every mistake into an opportunity to improve. It wasn't talent that made him a legend. It was his resilience. And this isn't just about athletes. Now think about Walt Disney. He was fired from a newspaper because, get this, they told him he had no imagination. Incredible, right? The genius behind the Disney empire was told he wasn't creative enough. That could have been the end of his story. He could have believed them. But instead of giving up, he kept creating, kept trying, kept dreaming of the impossible when no one else did. Do you see the lesson? Neither of them had an easy path. The difference is that they never allowed an obstacle to be the end of their story. They worked harder than anyone, and in the end, they achieved what no one else could. Tell me, how many times have you started learning a new language, an instrument, a sport, only to quit when you didn't see immediate progress? Ah, big mistake, my friend. A bamboo plant can spend years underground without showing any visible growth. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, its roots are spreading, growing stronger. And when it finally breaks through the ground, it grows faster than any other plant. If you're feeling like giving up, remember this. Don't obsess over the final result. Focus on improving just 1% each day. Progress comes from the accumulation of small, consistent efforts. Even if you fail, it doesn't mean you're incapable. It just means you haven't achieved it yet. Failure is part of the process. It's not the end. And the final trick: keep going when everyone else stops. Most people give up after their first few attempts. If you keep pushing forward, you're already ahead of 90% of them. Because at the end of the day, success doesn't belong to those who start with the most advantages. It belongs to those who stay in the game when everyone else has walked away. Now tell me in the comments, in what area of your life do you need to hold on a little longer? What's that one thing that challenges you, that tempts you to quit? Or just write, I am the bamboo that grows in silence. 17th lesson. The world owes you nothing. Nothing in this life is owed to you. No one owes you success, no one owes you happiness, no one owes you recognition. And guess what? That is your greatest blessing. Because if the world owed you something, you'd be stuck waiting for someone to give you an opportunity, for destiny to align, for the circumstances to be perfect. But since no one owes you anything, you are free to go out and get it yourself. If you keep believing that something or someone will come to save you, you will never take control of your own life. We think things should be a certain way. But who said the world operates by our rules? You work hard at your job and expect a promotion because you deserve it. But what happens if that promotion never comes? If they promote someone with less experience? You feel frustrated because you believed effort was enough, and of course, life owes you. Wrong. Here's another example. You help someone, give them your time, your energy, and expect them to repay you the same way. But one day you need support, and that person isn't there. You feel betrayed because you thought life worked on some automatic reward system. But here's the truth. The world is not designed to meet your expectations. There are no cosmic rules guaranteeing you will get what you believe you deserve. The Stoics understood this well. They didn't act with the hope of being rewarded. They simply did what was right because it was the right thing to do. Epictetus put it clearly, do not seek for events to happen as you wish. Rather, wish for them to happen as they do, and you will be at peace. They understood that life doesn't adjust to you, you adjust to life. They didn't expect the world to be fair. They didn't expect gratitude or rewards. They simply did what needed to be done and accepted whatever came their way. Imagine life as an ocean, and you are in the middle of it. You can spend your days screaming for help, waiting for someone to rescue you. Or you can start swimming. If you're not where you want to be, it's not your boss's fault. It's not your parents' fault. It's not the government's fault. It's not the economy's fault. It is your responsibility. It is your life. And training your mind means exactly that. Taking full control of your thoughts, your actions, and the consequences they create. Don't wait for opportunities. Create them. Don't wait for motivation. Act without it. Don't wait for justice. Do what's right anyway. Don't wait for approval. Be your own judge. Accept that life isn't fair, and that's okay. Let go of the idea that if I do X, I deserve Y. Life doesn't follow formulas, but those who keep moving forward will always go further. Whatever you do it for yourself, because you believe it's the right thing to do. Not because of what you think you'll get in return. Work hard, not to get a promotion, but to become someone so valuable that the promotion becomes inevitable. Help others, not expecting gratitude, but because who you are is worth more than what you receive. When you stop waiting for the world to give you something, you start taking it for yourself. And let me tell you a secret. The reward is enormous. Lesson number 18. Mistakes are your friends. Let me tell you the story of a military genius who lived centuries ago. A brilliant strategist, a leader who changed history. But before he conquered Europe, he lost key battles, made costly mistakes, and stood on the brink of collapse. Overconfident in his victories, he underestimated his enemies time and time again. His army, the most powerful of its time, was nearly destroyed. His allies abandoned him. His enemies surrounded him, and what seemed like an indestructible empire crumbled before his eyes. Anyone else would have surrendered. But instead, he learned from his mistakes, rebuilt his army, and in less than 2 years, he was back to challenge Europe once again. Do you know who I'm talking about? That's right, Napoleon Bonaparte. Even he failed, made miscalculations, and fell. And yet, we remember him as a military genius. So why do you still believe that mistakes are the end? Why are you so afraid of being wrong? It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare that they are difficult. Seneca. Think about something that's happened to you. Maybe you forgot an important detail in a meeting, sent the wrong message, missed an opportunity because of a small mistake. What did you do afterward? Most people get stuck in regret. How could I be so stupid? I shouldn't have done that. Everything is ruined. But tell me, what's the point of all that drama? The mistake already happened. Regret doesn't change a thing. The Stoics taught that mistakes aren't the problem. The problem is how we respond to them. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled during times of crisis, understood this well. Every failure, every obstacle was an opportunity to improve. In his personal writings, he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Mistakes don't stop you, they teach you. Think about this. A donkey fell into a deep well. Desperate, it brayed loudly while the villagers tried to find a solution. But when they realized they couldn't pull it out, they made a harsh decision. They would bury it right there. They grabbed shovels and started tossing dirt into the well. But instead of giving up, the donkey shook the dirt off its back and stepped up. With each shovel of dirt, it shook it off and climbed higher. Until finally, it used what was meant to bury it to climb out of the well. Mistakes work the same way. You can let them bury you, or you can shake them off and use them to rise. No one achieves anything great without having failed first. Elite athletes have lost more times than they've won. Successful entrepreneurs have gone broke more than once. The greatest artists have discarded more works than they've ever shown. So, my friend, if you want to achieve the impossible, you must accept that stumbling is part of the journey. As Epictetus said, "Do not worry if you stumble. Worry only if you learn nothing from the fall." Let me give you 3 foolproof tricks to stop seeing mistakes as enemies. First, change your inner dialogue. Don't think, "I'm a failure." Instead, think, "This is a lesson." Second, respond. Don't react. Instead of dwelling on it, ask yourself, "How can I fix this?" And third, accept that failure is part of success. If you never fail, it means you never tried anything truly challenging. My friend, success isn't about never making mistakes. It's about learning everything you can from every stumble. The people who win aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who use each mistake as a stepping stone to something greater. Lesson 19. Progress in silence, surprise with results. We live in an era where everyone wants to show their progress before they've even made any. We post a photo from our first day at the gym before lifting a single weight. We talk about our business idea before making our first sale. We announce our plans to the world as if that alone were part of success. But here's the trap. Talking about what you're going to do is not the same as doing it. Think of the greatest achievers. Have you ever seen an athlete celebrate victory before crossing the finish line? Have you ever seen a master boast about their knowledge before learning the lesson? As Ryan Holiday said in Ego is the Enemy, the more you talk about what you're going to do, the less energy you have to actually do it. True success doesn't come from noise. It comes from silent work. Real progress happens when no one is watching. Imagine a writer who, instead of talking about their novel, sits down to write every single day until the words take shape. Or an entrepreneur who, instead of bragging about their idea, builds something so strong that one day the world can't ignore it. Progress doesn't need applause. It needs consistency. Science backs this up. Studies show that when we announce our goals publicly, our brain experiences a premature sense of achievement. We feel good, as if we've already made progress. And that false satisfaction lowers our motivation to actually do the work. Psychologist Peter Gallwitzer, an expert in human behavior, put it clearly. When you talk about your goals, your brain receives an emotional reward that can trick you into feeling like you've already achieved them. And why does this happen? Because of endorphins. Those hormones that can be our best allies. But if we're not careful, they steal our dreams before we even start. In other words, talking too much about what you're going to do can be your worst enemy. It relaxes you, takes away your sense of urgency, and before you know it, months have passed, and you're still in the same place. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. To them, work mattered more than words. Marcus Aurelius wrote another brilliant reminder in his journal, "Don't explain your philosophy, live it." And Seneca made it even clearer. Great achievements require time and silence. If history's greatest thinkers and the world's best psychologists knew that success isn't announced, Why do we keep expecting recognition before we've earned it? If you truly want to progress, stop boasting before it's time and start doing this instead. Stop announcing every step. Use that energy to take the step instead. Let results speak for you. Don't tell people what you're going to do. Do it so well that the world has no choice but to notice. Work in the shadows. Shine in the light. Stop seeking constant validation. Success comes when what you've done in private is too big to be ignored. Real satisfaction doesn't come from premature applause. It comes from looking back and knowing that, no matter who was watching, you gave your best every single day. Don't waste time talking about what you're going to do. Use that time to do it. And when the moment comes, surprise them with the results. Now, my friend, this is where everything comes together. Because progressing in silence is crucial, but there's something even more powerful. Something that truly separates those who achieve the impossible from those who quit halfway. If there's one final principle you must burn into your mind, it's this. Without it, everything else crumbles. With it, any goal, no matter how big, becomes achievable. Lesson 20. Change your mind and you'll change your destiny. Your life is a reflection of what you think every day. If you believe you can't, you won't. If you believe you don't deserve more, you'll never have it. If you believe there's no way out, you'll never find one. But here's the truth that few are willing to accept. It's not luck, it's not circumstances, and it's not other people that determine your destiny. It's your mind. And if you learn to change it, you can change everything. Think about the Wright brothers. At the beginning of the 20th century, humanity believed that flying was impossible. The most respected scientists assured the world that no machine heavier than air could ever stay in flight. It was madness, an absurd dream. But the Wright brothers didn't see limits, they saw possibilities. They failed again and again. They crashed. They were ridiculed. People called them crazy, and yet they kept going. After years of failed attempts, they finally achieved what the world swore was impossible. They flew. Now tell me, what impossible have you been made to believe? What dreams did you abandon because someone told you you couldn't? Maybe someone said you weren't good enough for that job you wanted. Maybe they told you that learning a new language at your age was a waste of time. Tell me in the comments, what dream was taken from your mind that you're now ready to reclaim? Imagine this. At a circus, a massive elephant stands tied to a small stake in the ground. With its strength, it could easily pull it out and break free. But it doesn't. It stays there, tied, trapped, motionless. Do you know why? Because when it was young, that same stake was too strong for it. It tried to break free, but it was too weak. It struggled over and over again, until, exhausted, it gave up. Years passed. Its body grew, its strength multiplied, but its mind stayed stuck in that first failure, and it never tried again. Now here's the big question. How many times have you done the same thing? How many times has one past failure convinced you that you'll never be able to do something? And so you stay there, tied to an idea you could break free from if only you dared to try again. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. To them, true freedom wasn't found in the outside world. It was in mastering your own mind. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. What a powerful phrase. One to be framed. Do you know what he did when his mind played tricks on him? He didn't blindly believe his negative thoughts. He questioned them. Is this really true, or is it just something I've assumed? He also spoke to himself the way he would speak to someone he loved. You can do the same. If a friend told you they were a failure, would you agree with them? Or would you prove them wrong? Do the same for yourself. And another great trick from Marcus Aurelius, act like the person you want to become. Do you know what that means? If you want to be confident, don't wait for confidence to magically appear. Give yourself permission to act with confidence. Start now, and the change will follow. The Stoics knew that your mind can be your greatest prison or your greatest freedom. The choice has always been in your hands. If you change what you believe is possible, you will change what is possible for you. Lesson 21. The fear of failure is worse than failure itself. Failing isn't the problem. The problem is the fear that paralyzes you before you even try. Be honest, how many times have you let an opportunity slip away because you were afraid of making a mistake? That business you never started, that person you never spoke to, that decision you kept postponing until it was too late. If you really think about it, most of the things you haven't achieved in life aren't because you failed trying. Of course not. It's because you never even dared to try. And that's the trap. The fear of failure is the only real failure. The impossible remains impossible only if you don't even attempt it. Imagine yourself 10 years from now, looking back. What do you think will haunt you? What do you think you'll regret? The things you believed were impossible but tried anyway? Or all the things you gave up on just because you were too afraid to fail? Yes, my friend, I think I know your answer. I highly doubt you'll regret the times you failed, but you will regret everything you never had the courage to try. Failure teaches, strengthens, and makes you wiser. But the fear of failure keeps you stuck, trapped in a version of yourself that never grows, never moves forward, and never discovers what you're truly capable of. The Stoics understood this clearly. Fear is just an anticipation of a future that doesn't exist yet. It's a movie playing in your mind where you already see yourself failing, losing, embarrassing yourself. But tell me, how many times have those worst-case scenarios you imagined actually happened? There's a story about a famous tightrope walker who walked across a rope strung between two skyscrapers. Below him, a crowd held their breath. With every step, the danger of falling was real. But he never stopped. When he reached the other side, someone asked him, "How do you do it without fear?" He smiled and replied, "I just focus on the next step." And that is the key. The fear of failure only appears when you look too far ahead, when you let your mind flood you with worst-case scenarios instead of focusing on what you can actually control. A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than necessary, said Seneca. Oh, what brilliant wisdom. It really is that simple, if you're willing to see it. If you want to achieve something great, you have to fail many times first. There is no other way. But every failure teaches you something. Every mistake is an adjustment. Every fall is training. Every obstacle is a lesson. My friend, those who achieve the impossible aren't the ones who never failed. They're the ones who failed more times than anyone else and kept going. So the question isn't if you're going to fail, because you will. The real question is, what will you do afterward? Because in the end, failing while trying is 1,000 times better than failing without having done anything at all. But I know it's not easy. Fear is tough. So if fear is what's holding you back, here are a few tricks to overcome it. First, think about the worst-case scenario. Ask yourself, if I fail, what's the absolute worst thing that could happen? You'll realize that in most cases, it's not as bad as your mind makes it seem. Second, change your perspective. Stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what can I learn from this? And most importantly, take immediate action. Don't overthink it. Do something today, no matter how small. Start the project, make the call, send the message. Action defeats fear. Do you know what the great Marcus Aurelius said? Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Now tell me, are you going to keep letting fear hold you back? Are you going to keep believing your own excuses? Or are you going to train your mind to achieve the impossible? Lesson 22. What you do today determines who you'll become tomorrow. This is the point that changes everything. The one that separates dreamers from achievers. The ultimate key to accomplishing the impossible. Because it doesn't matter how much you prepare, how much you plan, or how much you believe in yourself. If you don't take action every single day toward what you want, you will never get there. Success doesn't happen in one big heroic moment. It's not the result of a single grand action. It's the outcome of hundreds of small daily choices. It's what you do when no one is watching. It's what you risk when you could settle for less. It's what you repeat, day after day, when everyone else has given up. Now think about the people who have achieved the unthinkable. The great fortunes, the brilliant minds who changed history. The athletes, artists, and leaders who now seem untouchable. Do you really think all of that happened by chance? Or do you think they visualized the life they wanted and took action every single day, without excuses, without waiting for the perfect moment? And here's the harsh truth. If you delay today, tomorrow, you'll still be in the same place. If you let opportunities pass today, tomorrow it'll be even harder to take them. If you tell yourself you'll start later, you'll probably never start. Life is nothing more than the accumulation of what you do right now. Imagine someone who wants to change their life but finds an excuse every single day. I'm too tired today. It's not the right time. Tomorrow will be different. But as the years pass, they realize that every tomorrow was a wasted opportunity. As our wise Stoic friends taught us, the present is the only thing we truly own. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not waste what remains of your life in doubt and procrastination. Life is happening now." The problem is, we keep waiting for the perfect moment, the ideal motivation, the magical sign that tells us now is the time to act. But the only sign you need is this one, the fact that you're here, right now, hearing this. If you truly want to achieve the impossible, do this right now. Grab a piece of paper and a pen. Write down, in detail, what your perfect life would look like 5 years from now. Where would you be? How would you feel? What would you be doing? Be specific. Don't hold back. Once you have it, look at that list. Now bring that future into the present. Find one small thing you can start doing today. If you want to be in shape, train today. If you want to own a business, research today. Don't wait. Do it now. And the most important key, repeat it every day. You don't have to do everything at once, but each small action is a vote in favor of the life you want to build. In the end, your destiny isn't determined by what you say you'll do. It's determined by what you actually do, over and over and over again until you make it happen. So tell me, what are you going to do today to change your tomorrow? Every day is a new opportunity to prove to yourself what you're made of. It's not about talent, luck, or inspiration. It's about consistency and effort. Because the real difference between those who achieve their goals and those who keep dreaming is the discipline to keep going when others give up. And today, you choose to keep going. If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "I train my mind every day." That way, I'll know who the true Stoic warriors are who made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give this video a like so you don't miss out on what's coming next. I also invite you to check out our playlist, which you'll see on the screen. It's packed with ideas, stories, and advice to help you navigate life with more wisdom and confidence. Click it, and let's keep moving forward together. Until next time, take care and keep embracing your inner Stoic.